Hey, what's up, guys? I was thinking um, about these 30 round magazines and how I'm seeing a lot more bumblebees these days. And the bumblebees that are coming on the market, I'm betting have been in people's closets for a long time. And something that happens, most of them have probably never had a drop of lubricant in them whatsoever. And what can happen is all this up here can get stuck together. And the valve can actually get stuck to the valve seat. And if it's stuck to the valve seat and you go ahead and put it in a gun and pressurize it and get it ready to shoot, like you're just going to shoot it, and then you strike that valve, it can actually rip a little piece of that valve seat seal out. And then your seat seal is bad. And we've been over, the difficulty of um, replacing that seal. Y'all know I don't even generally do it just because I have uh, spare seats. But, they're starting to dwindle as far as how many I have. So we're going to have to eventually get around to doing that. So, I was thinking about it, and something that I've done in the past is held this valve open and squirted lubricant in here, the same kind of lubricant that I used to lubricate directly in the intake. Now, yeah, this one does have an HPA adapter. I just figured I'd show y'all what it looks like. But this is my last one. So it's not for sale, but I wanted to show y'all what it looks like in case there's somebody out there who wants to start making them. I noticed the other day that these are rifled, these adapters. So Jim probably made them out of old barrels. See, here's a prime example. See how it came out like that? It got stuck. I haven't used this one in forever. But this is not really the part of the video. I just wanted to show you how this worked. So you got this nut, and it's been worked a little bit, so it fits right on here. Like so. And then that just goes up through there and threads in the nut, and the nut pulls down on that and braces that up against the seal. I'm just checking out to see what seal I've got in here. It looks like I probably need a new one. Anyway, let's get on with this. So I was thinking about it today, and it's always a pain in the butt to hold this valve open. So I said, well, I got a printer and some CAD skills. I'll bet that I could come up with something pretty quick that will allow me to hold the valve open so I can shoot some schmoo in there, shake it around, and leave it set for about an hour or whatever, and then just drain it on out. So I came up with this, and if y'all got printers, just let me know. I'll shoot you the file. But this just goes on here like so, and it pushes our valve and then locks in like so, and now we're open for business. So what we can do is, actually, if you were to get a Bumblebee magazine, the first thing I would do before you do this is before you do that, before you depress that valve, just put a little bit of lubricant on there and, you know, let it sit at about 15 minutes. Just something. I've been using this stuff. It seems to work pretty good. It's O-ring safe, and I'm going to get into O-ring safe in just a minute. But yeah, just leave that like that for, you know, 15 minutes or so, and that should get in there and separate the valve from the valve seat seal. So when you go ahead and depress this, that it doesn't rip your seal. So now we're good to go. Now the valve's open. Now I should be able to put a good bit of schmoo in here. I wonder about going in the other way. Can't really see what I'm doing. But, I mean, yeah, you can if you can. Yeah, that's really getting in there. Whoa. So, that's got a whole bunch of schmoo in there. So, now we could, you know, it's all in there. So, I'm just going to go ahead and take this off. It comes off easier when it's got a little lube on it. So now it shouldn't be leaking or anything like that. And this hole down here is so tiny, it's probably not going to come out of that. Probably not going to want to come out of that. So, yeah, we can just shake that around. And the point of this is to kind of just irrigate that. And also, it'll get on the inside of these seals and it'll actually go around, especially when you shoot this. So the idea would be, if you're going to shoot tomorrow, planning on shooting tomorrow, you could do this the day before. You know, after about 15 minutes, I'll come back, I'll put this back on there, and then I'll drain it. So I tell you what, let me see you in another 15 minutes. All right, here we are sometime later. And we're just going to put this back on here. See how that works. Now our valve is open. And it might require a little bit of coaxing. Maybe even like some shop air on this end. Hopefully not. No, it's coming out. Yeah, I think shop air would be a good idea if you have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blow some shop air in here or in here and get the rest of that out of there. Yeah, that worked really well. I've got one of these blow guns. I'll show you what kind it is. It's just this type, and it gets in there good, and it gets in here really good. So that got rid of most of it. But from here, I've never had one of these diesel on me from putting stuff in there, but just to be on the safe side, you probably you might want to hang it upside down overnight and let any volatiles that are not the silicone part of this, let those fumes just kind of fall out of it. But to do that, you need to make sure that that hole right there is open, because if it's just got a drop of silicone on there, it's not really going to be able to vent very well. So shop air. If you don't have shop air, you could probably just blow in that just to make sure it's open, and then, you know, it would drain overnight. So that brings me to the conversation I had with Grok about, you know, what I really wanted this for in the first place. And that is, you know, this is good for maintenance. But if you got an old stick mag that hasn't been shot in, you know, 20 something years, and it's probably going to need a little help. And instead of going through and taking everything apart, you don't want to do that if you can avoid that, because if you go through here and you take that valve and valve seat out, you know, they have been married to each other, and when you put them back together, they're not going to have that same groove, and it's about guaranteed to leak if you just go ahead and take that out, especially on the old ones. So if you can get in there with something without, you know, taking it apart and putting it back together, you're not going to mess your alignment up there on the way it, you know, goes together. And if you have like really old O-rings that are all dried up and crushed, there's an O-ring here, there's an O-ring here, there's an O-ring here, and they're nitrile O-rings. Now, in the past, I've used not hydraulic fluid, but automatic transmission fluid to swell them up, but it swells them too much. It'll get you by in a pinch. But I was talking to Grok, chatting with Grok today about, you know, if there's something that is less aggressive than that. And it was saying that mineral oil would be a good thing, because it'll swell nitrile rubber to 5 to 15%, you know, without turning it into like a warm gummy bear. So what we came to the conclusion was that Marvel Mystery Oil would be a good thing to use for that. You'd go about it just the same way we did that. Yeah, that's if you've got leaks from an old magazine. And yeah, these old magazines, they're pretty much guaranteed to have dried up seals in them. It's not a permanent fix. It might last a month. It might last a week. But yeah, I mean, it'll get you going if you buy one of these bumblebees off of eBay, and you know, you got all kinds of leaks. So I just thought I would share that with you. Yeah, let me know if you want me to send you this file. I will. I might put it on Thingiverse. I've never put anything on Thingiverse, but if y'all want it there, it's fine. Just anything to keep these old birds going. All right, guys. Later.